Hello, Fennec here with the last replay cast of Artifact Cup 39. Once again on Canyon Outpost Round 5 between Agame and Majiir. Starting on the bottom side of the map, we do have Majiir in the black on black Soban carrier, or black and orange, as the orange appears to be on the other side.
Salvager online.
And on the other side of the map,
Proceed to rally
I have
rally point
his
designated.
enemy
Move out.
in the
Salvager
black
construction complete.
on white Soban carrier. It is Agame.
Proceed to RU site.
So let's turn on, yes, want reveal all on and go
Adjusting
to
course.
production
Order received. Underway.
and take a look at how our players are opening. Agame has not gone for light assault vehicle fabrication, where Majiir has gone for early light assault vehicle fabrication. Both
Salvager
players
construction
have
complete. Arming logistics
put
modules.
their carriers in the middle of the two starting resourcing locations and are mining off
Salvager
of
online.
double,
LAV now available for
as
production.
Canyon
Proceed
Outpost
to rally
is
point.
a two-player map in the 1v1
Clear to
player
move.
map
Waypoint
pool.
designated. Runner copies. Location Salvager construction complete.
Majiir
Proceeding to
is
mark.
bringing out
Adjusting course.
his
New vector
base
locked.
runner here
Clear to move.
to go pick up an artifact, and Majiir is the only one
Salvager online.
with the base runner out on the field, as Agame decided to retire the base runner to go for a fast support cruiser and higher eco.
Salvager construction complete. Rally point designated. Move out. Go ahead.
Majiir also has probe out, just providing some
Awaiting orders.
sight,
Green line confirmed.
moving into AAV fabrication. Agame has finished the LAV fabrication, now moving into a railgun fabrication, so Agame correctly choosing the better counter for the early game
Ready
tech
orders.
that Majiir's going
Spectrum
into,
analysis
so we'll
has
just have to see
identified an artifact extraction in progress.
how that works out in practice. Majiir does not have any LAVs out on the
Standing
field,
by.
despite getting that LAV tech early. That seems to be a little bit of a suboptimal play. Well, here we go with Agame sending out scouts of LAVs, and they are going to come in to vision of the probe. That probe's going to get tickled a little bit, but get out of range with about half health there. So in comes Agame's scouting force, and we do have
Green line
5
confirmed.
LAVs streaming across the map from Agame,
Online.
while Majiir scouting
New
with
bearing on hostile target.
his probe, has a support cruiser out
Enemy
and is
sighted. Go
now,
ahead.
well, upgrading carrier production and going straight into railgun fabrication.
Online.
Meanwhile,
Let's roll.
Enemy contact
Agame
on
is content
sensors.
just to stay with the railgun fabrication tech. Has yet to upgrade his carrier production and moving straight into LAV assault packs. So we do have the first armored assault
Enemy
out
target.
for Majiir, and that's going to clean up this scouting force of LAVs.
In service. Armored vehicle taking
A couple
effective
more
fire.
railgun, sorry, AAVs coming
Hostile
out, but
contact on the board.
Agame has a bunch of LAVs on this side of the map, so Majiir's going to need to spread out
Armored
these
assault
AAVs
online.
here.
Artifact recovered. Authentication confirmed. We are at
Base
maximum
runner
fleet
did
capacity.
Moving out.
get the artifact into the extraction zone,
Enemy contact
but
on the
these
board.
LAVs
Base
are
runner
going to
taking
come
enemy fire.
and probably take care of this base runner
Coordinates
unless
confirmed. Send
some
message.
of the AAVs get there in time.
Carrier copy.
But right now, Majiir going for a mixture of salvagers
Green line
and railguns. And on the other side, Agame currently producing nothing, finally getting the first
en route.
carrier production upgrade, going immediately into fighters and gunships.
Ready update.
Meanwhile, Majiir going into missile battery fabrication, so it does appear like Majiir does have the correct
Coordinates acquired.
counter in play. That base runner does go down before the AAV gets in range to help, so Majiir just going to pull that
Enemy signature
AAV
identified.
back.
Copy. Displacing now.
Bringing a couple of AAVs up here in the front,
Resource units
but
exhausted.
A-Game does have those double railguns out, protecting his base from any sort of AAV harass. Meanwhile,
Acknowledged.
Majiir protecting his base with the armored assaults here.
Destination set.
Has
Orders
one
green.
railgun to come in,
Awaiting orders. Railgun.
building
online.
another
Heavy vehicle
railgun.
armor upgraded.
What do we
Proceed to
have
rally point.
from A-Game going into the
Rally point designated.
rail
Move out.
gun accelerator upgrade and then building some more LAVs?
Railgun assembly complete.
Has one
Displacing now.
fighter in the hangar. Expect to see some more of those coming out in the not too distant future. Some AAVs
Railgun
poking up
online.
Enemy
from
engaging armored unit.
Majiir, going to get tickled by one
Enemy on
railgun,
sensors.
Position. Deploy smoke.
but
Armor is en route.
A-Game does have at least two railguns here in the back. Majiir deploying some early smoke, not needed, as
Railgun assembly
these railguns
complete.
can't see past this hill here, a rock formation that
Additional
is.
fabrication facilities now active.
Destination set.
AVs are going to try and come straight on top of those railguns on the other side of the hill, it looks like.
New threat identified.
Let's roll.
And they could get a decent amount of damage here, I think. Except strike fighters are
Enemy
out,
unit detected.
and they're going to immediately target the railgun,
Contact.
From
Enemy
Majiir,
strike fighter
so-
airborne. Railgun under fire.
which is probably going to want to pull back now.
Enemy contact on
One
the board. Enemy
more
interceptor
volley,
engaging unit.
and that railgun's out. 4 strike fighters for A-Game.
Railgun destroyed.
Majiir is deciding to advance on the railguns with the 2 AVs under the cover of smoke. Meanwhile, more railguns getting destroyed
Battery construction
by the
complete.
Air
Energy
Force
signature
of
confirmed.
A-Game.
Pinpointing artifact location now.
And A-Game going to be able to clean up
Armored vehicle
almost
taking effective
all of the
fire.
railguns that are streaming across the map. Well, at least half of them, I would say. Missile ships are in play. Meanwhile, on this side, it does look like one railgun has been taken out by the AAVs, but the second one able to get out
Hostile unit
of
marked.
the way.
Coordinates confirmed.
Missile
Alert.
batteries
Hostile strike fighter
perhaps
overhead.
taken out a strike fighter or two.
Contact. Enemy strike fighter airborne.
They should be able to at least one more shot until this one goes up down. That AAV is going to make a safe retreat.
Eyes open out there. New heading.
Enemy
Its armor is
contact
just a
on
little bit
sensors.
too tough for the strike fighters to pierce.
Enemy signature identified.
So we do have some mixed forces coming out.
Hostile
Rails
unit marked.
and
Armor ready.
AAVs for Majiir against the LAVs and Rails
Enemy
along with
signature
the Air
identified.
Force of A-Game.
Armor moving out.
Enemy contact on sensors.
These LAVs are going to try and get a flanking maneuver from the side here, but there are
Armor
2
confirmed.
AAVs coming in to deal with that,
We're up and running. We're moving out.
and some ALMs.
Hostile contact on the board.
Order confirmed. Move order confirmed.
Enemy unit
What
detected.
do we have in terms of research?
Tracking enemy target.
New heading set.
A-Game finally researching the
Enemy
third
on sensors.
carrier
Enemy engaging armored
production
units.
upgrade. These LAVs are being pushed out by the armored assault vehicles.
New threat identified.
Those railguns are going to try and do something, but they're
Railgun
just going to
engaging enemy
miss.
units.
Move out.
But these AAVs should be able to take out a few.
Rapid fire intensity. Keep up the pressure.
Enemy
The
contact on
mark
board.
target ability
We're up and running.
used from Majiir just to do more damage to those AAVs.
Enemy sighted.
Destination set.
And we do have some strike fighters coming out on this side. They're going to run into a missile battery, so they're going to retreat. And meanwhile, here's where the real engagement is going to happen.
Contact on the board.
Lots of railguns from A-Game cleaning up Majiir's AAVs. Majiir needing to put down smoke here to cover this advance. And then the strike fighters coming in the background. Only one missile battery, so those strike fighters will get some damage in before they get destroyed.
Go ahead. Ready for orders. On
We have
out.
new bearing on hostile target.
Reposition.
Hostile threat marked on sensors.
Well, there were 2 missile batteries there, but
A railgun has been
didn't get
lost.
very many kills, I don't think. Maybe I've probably got a couple, but there we go. 2 strike fighters still in the air. But A-Game definitely coming out on head in this engagement. The entire fleet still alive. Majiir being a little bit too greedy, attacking into this large force,
Light attack vehicle online.
building a massive fleet of LAVs. And what do we have in production for A-game? Nothing. Going for heavy vehicle armor 2.
LAV armor enhancement
Majiir
complete.
already has
Set.
all his armor upgrades
Light
researched,
attack vehicle online.
Ready orders.
but the superior massive railguns with all this veterancy just doing so much work for A-game right now. Doesn't have a lot of LAVs to defend them though, so this fleet of LAVs from Majiir, if used properly. Okay, here's the LAVs, they're still alive, that's what I thought.
Light attack vehicle
But Majiir
online.
Awaiting
will
orders.
have more LAVs if used correctly. Since these LAVs are out of position, they could get
Tracking hostile.
some railguns
New
destroyed.
bearing on hostile target.
Let's move.
Try and swing the camera over here so we can see everything that's going on. This is a massive fleet of railguns from A-game.
Hostile strike craft destroyed.
Coordinates confirmed.
Ready.
Light attack
More missile
vehicle
batteries, more AAVs, more LAVs in production for Majiir.
LAV destroyed.
And then we do have a...
On our way.
Is that a gunship? We do have one gunship and
Hostile threat
6
marked
strike
on
fighters from
Coordinates confirmed.
A-game.
Enemy on sensors. Sensor mode
Smoke here
fire.
to
Ready
save the carrier from production. The LAVs are going to come and try and screen out this force here.
Enemy contact on the board.
Enough railguns that the railguns are actually hitting
An
the
LAV has been
LAVs.
lost.
Fire on the move.
Enemy contact on sensors.
Go.
Looks like Majiir is going to get the better of the LAV war, which means his LAVs should be able to clean up a few
Reading.
of these railguns if they're focused fired correctly.
Overdrive. Punch it.
Enemy railgun
And
neutralized.
then Majiir bringing up his railgun force over here and more LAVs, so doing some decent damage to this attacking force here.
Fire.
Keep the speed up.
And the A-game's going to lose a decent amount in this battle.
Railgun assembly complete.
New heading set. Punch it.
In comes the Air Force. Well-placed missile battery here. And a gunship.
Missile battery lost.
That missile battery is destroyed. There is one more missile battery, which isn't enough to take care of this gunship, so those LAVs are going to fall. But not before a lot of A-game's rails have been destroyed.
Hostile strike fighter overhead.
A little bit of mis-targeting micro from Majiir here. Focusing the LAVs instead of the rails.
Hostile strike craft eliminated.
Plenty of rails for A-game coming out.
Enemy
And
contact on the
not
board.
enough rails from, I'm sorry, LAVs from A-game, and not enough LAVs from Majiir to keep his forces safe, so we're kind of back at an impasse. We do have 3 mining locations for Majiir and 3 mining locations for A-game.
Green light to proceed. Move.
Meanwhile, Majiir's going to try and get artifacts behind this, and has an artillery cruiser out. That's definitely going to help with these railguns, assuming Majiir can keep it alive from all these LAVs.
Base runner assembly complete.
So another second artillery cruiser coming out for Majiir, and then
Copy.
A-game
Displacing now.
going
Railgun
into a
online.
battle cruiser. So it's going to be battle cruisers versus artillery cruisers
Railgun
in this
assembly
late
complete.
game.
Systems up.
Prep for displacement.
Unless A-game's just going to skip the battle cruisers and go into the artillery cruisers first.
Secure vehicle for move. Acknowledged.
Both players opting to stay on their side of the map while going for this base runner with the artifact.
Railgun online.
Move order confirmed.
These LAVs don't get into position,
New
this
bearing
base
on
runner
hostile
should
target.
fall,
Base runner engaging hostiles.
Good copy.
and it will fall.
We have lost an artifact.
Orders misplayed, artillery not going to hit either, but now A-game knows that Majiir has artillery cruisers out here.
Enemy sighted.
for deployment.
Only one, that second artillery cruiser, almost out on the field. A-Game bringing this carrier up into production. That battle cruiser fabrication is almost finished. Research, power reserve 2 under research, and here comes a little bit of a battle. That gunship going to do some damage to those LAVs. Base runner gets cleaned up yet again.
Enemy signature identified.
And these LAVs are going to die to the gunship before they get on top of the rails. Aren't going to destroy any rails, and some strike fighters for good measure. Artillery
Cruiser copies.
just firing off a few volleys. No barrages just yet.
Green line confirmed.
Hostile threat marked on sensors.
Fire sector validated. Full cell.
Hostile unit marked.
I don't think there's enough defense here. Here we go for a
Enemy unit
barrage.
detected.
Gonna land right on top of the rails. Double barrage.
Enemy target.
Not quite doing the damage that Majiir would have hoped.
Move with caution. We have hostiles on the board.
Enemy contact on sensors.
Currently, even trading in the rail battle, because for some reason A-Game hasn't sent in the LAVs yet. That's a good mortar, and this can destroy pretty much all of those LAVs, meaning Majiir's going to win the railgun duel at the moment.
Push through.
Almost all of A-Game's rails are going to fall to the combination of railguns and artillery, but at the same time, most of Majiir's railguns are going to get cleaned up as well.
Assembly complete. Maneuver out.
A railgun
Lots
has
of
been lost.
LAVs for A-Game.
Green
Hostile
line
threat marked
confirmed.
on sensors.
Displace.
Let's see,
Hostile contact marked.
Majiir just
Railgun under
replacing
fire.
its forces, and
Reposition.
Enemy sighted.
A-Game going for an assault cruiser next. Does have
Light attack
the
vehicle online. Displace.
Enemy on sensors.
artillery cruiser tech researched as well, so that could come out
Moving up.
from A-Game
Enemy
too.
contact on the board.
These artillery cruisers are getting pretty far forward, but there are lots of AAVs to protect, assuming they don't get picked off by railguns. Smoke in the front to keep them alive.
Push through.
Enemy unit detected.
The AAVs getting out of range of that smoke.
Target locked.
Armored unit
And those
lost.
LAVs are going to come in and probably target these artillery cruisers.
Alert. Artillery cruiser under attack.
Mortars killing about half of the AAVs. These artillery cruisers are in danger of going down. Plenty of railguns. The artillery cruisers are a little bit too far forward. The railguns in combination with the AAVs could kill them. The LAVs are going for missile batteries, but these artillery cruisers are going to get killed by the railguns. Artillery cruisers really need to be in the back line, not the front line. Both artillery cruisers get taken out.
Vehicle destroyed. Railgun engaging enemy unit.
And Majiir once, and then over here,
Support cruiser
we do
taking
have
hostile fire.
support cruisers getting targeted, salvagers getting
LAV
targeted
has been lost.
by the Air Force. These rails are running into LAVs, and those LAVs are more or less going to hard counter. Good mortar shot there, but not enough. And we did have also some AAVs getting in the back here, so
Enemy engaging
harassing
armored
the
unit.
eco from both sides, but both players, that is. But these LAVs just cleaning up. Majiir's railguns, more railguns streaming into their death.
Green line confirmed.
Should be bringing these AAVs up instead.
Railgun destroyed. Copy.
Majiir running out of cash to build things, as that
Armor's en route.
airstrike
Online.
on the resourcing location was
Missile battery
pretty
lost.
important. Meanwhile, some armored assaults here cleaning
Enemy
up,
signature identified.
or at least pushing back the LAVs. Another artifact was lost. I thought I heard another resourcing location coming up
Enemy contact
for
on
Majiir, but this
sensors.
one's going to be hard to keep alive as it's right in front of
Enemy contact
all
on
of
the board.
A-Game's forces, and A-Game once again bringing the carrier out.
CUs identified. Proceed to site.
Searching support cruiser anti-air, launching the strike fighters.
Order received. Underway. This is the captain.
You're bringing up
Eyes open out
his carrier 2, does not have anywhere near as much power
Waypoint designated.
into the carrier,
Location
and
designated.
So lagging behind A-Game here in terms of resource invocations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Set charges.
At least
right
if you
there.
count that as 1, maybe not. 4 versus,
Cruiser ready. Cruiser ready.
say,
We have
2.5.
new bearing on hostile target. Support
Strike
cruiser
fighters
under
coming
attack.
out over here,
Hostile
going to shoot
interceptor
the
has
support
opened
cruiser.
fire.
Support cruiser does have AA,
Enemy sighted.
but 3 strike fighters, in addition to the previous
Enemy strike fighter
damage,
airborne. Armored vehicle
may
taking
be able
effective
to
fire.
clean it up. We'll have to come back and look at that again, because A-Game is coming out
Salvager taking
across the
hostile
map,
fire.
hitting these salvagers that are way
Tracking
far
hostile.
up.
New heading set.
Here comes the gunship.
We have new bearing on hostile target.
Strike fighters left before they all died, but one more volley and the support cruiser is dead.
A salvager has been lost.
Coordinates confirmed.
Salvagers getting clean up. The gunship almost destroyed as
Hostile forces
well.
are pursuing an artifact.
Make sure it's all documented before you start pulling it in. We're moving in. The analysts are going to want to see the report.
New vector locked. Moving to new
A-Game
waypoint.
takes 2 artifacts in double base runners, deciding that he wants some more power on his carrier.
Clear to move. Waypoint
Also
designated.
having trouble with getting enough resources out at this point in the
Adjusting
game.
course.
It's a lot harder to keep those resources alive. Some LAVs coming over here, going to finish up that support cruiser, giving A-Game a very nice resource advantage, but here might be the final showdown between all the railguns and Majiir's carrier.
Hostile contact on the board. Railgun under fire. Enemy engaging armored unit.
Smoke to try and keep the carrier alive so they can hopefully get rid of a few railguns.
A railgun
Another
has been lost.
artillery cruiser with a
Reposition.
barrage,
Get us moving.
not quite landing on the
Enemy
targets.
contact on sensors. Enemy signature
Somewhat of a
identified.
desperation move from Majiir. Second artillery cruiser, that one
Missile
should
battery
be
destroyed. Sensor post is taking hostile
better to
fire.
hit, except the railguns are focusing it down here.
Armored vehicle destroyed.
One artillery cruiser down.
Alert. Artillery cruiser lost. Get us alert. Away. Artillery cruiser taking fire.
In
Units
comes a
respond.
microwave
Adjust position.
emitter
Adjust position.
from
Railgun
the
destroyed.
Soban carrier,
Salvager under fire.
and
Alert.
that's going
Command
to
carrier
do
is
damage
taking
over
hostile
time
fire.
along with these railguns.
Salvager destroyed. Support cruiser under attack.
The Majiir's just getting hit everywhere.
Enemy interceptor
56%
engaging
on the carrier. Eco's getting
units.
destroyed
Contact on the board.
by these LAVs here. And I missed the carrier getting destroyed, but the railguns did clean it up. My apologies. Hope you enjoyed that replay cast. Last cast of Artifact Cup 39 is the next round. There was a glitching challenge, and the top players played the bottom players, which is not what you want to see happen in a Swiss tournament. But if you did enjoy that replay cast, hit that like button, subscribe, or leave a message in the comments. Phil Fanatic signing out.